Kingdom people, they are acting like you did something to them because their plots against you failed. So these people are feeling away because their plots against you are not working. And they're like uptight where you're concerned. Like you did something to them because they plot's not working on you. The thing is, it's really nothing they can do about feeling that way but sitting those feelings. And that's precisely what they're doing. And so, Kingdom people, what has happened is, initially these people, they thought you was an easy target. They thought they was going to just run up on you and do they want to and knock you out. Thought you was going to be out for the count, but you still counting. You still going. And so they feel like the only way that they can process this or accept this reality, even if we're gonna even call it accepting, is by acting like you did something to them, because their plots always work. Everything they do always work. So it's you. They feel like you defeated them, and the truth is, you just doing you. You just living your life. You just keep showing up. Now, you do fight, spiritually speaking. You fight by pressing. You fight by keep going after what God is telling you to do. You fight by keep getting up every day. You know what I'm saying? Working, your calling, working your crafts, working your businesses, putting in the work, whatever that is for you. And so that's your fight. That's how you fight. You're not fighting with these people. Yeah, you cast that crap down and send it to the pits of hell. All the demonic activity and all the witchcraft that comes after you and your children, your family. Yes, that's how you fight. But you're not fighting with them. So you're not doing nothing to them. But they feel like whatever you're doing, because their plots are not succeeding, because their plots are failing, they feel like you are the problem. They feel like you doing something to them. And the truth is, if we be real, you are shutting down their warfare against you. You are combating it by having on the whole armor of God and withstanding the fiery darts of the enemy. Yes, that's what you're doing, keeping your whole armor on. And so, Kingdom people, they are in this space and place where they're acting like you're doing something to them, because these people, first of all, lack self-awareness. And when you lack self-awareness, you don't acknowledge the part you play in a thing. You don't acknowledge your error. These people don't do that. They have to, what they call, project or divert whatever it is somewhere else. It's never them. It's not them. And so, unfortunately, when you lack self-awareness, you can't grow. Or should I say it this way? When you're growing, it's both. But when you're growing, when you're making a conscious effort to grow and develop yourself as a person, learn what you need to learn, do the healing work, those kind of things, you start to have self-awareness. I know for me, as I was learning and I was growing, I became aware of myself and certain things, certain attributes, certain things, the way I did things, and what may have been an issue for me, and things that I needed to change. I was doing these things. I was becoming self-aware and doing the work to improve, adjust, eradicate where, that's appropriate. As I was doing it, I end up becoming aware that I was self-aware. And so when you're self-aware, what happens, Kingdom people, you're growing on purpose. You want to improve yourself. You want to do things different. You want to take accountability and responsibility for, what it is with you. And so when you lack self-awareness, furthermore, don't want any self-awareness, see, people that don't want self-awareness, they don't want to be self-aware, they don't want to acknowledge nothing within themselves. These are the kind of people that's always pointing the finger. These are the kind of people, they would never say I in a sentence where it's owning an error or a mistake. They don't say I and then own a mistake. They don't say I and take responsibility for things that they may have done inappropriately or wrong. They don't do that. When they say it's I did this, it's a boasting thing. It's always got to be something, where they're pumping themselves up. So, anyway, Kingdom people, I was hearing a beeping. Not sure what that is. But anyhow, Kingdom people, I just heard distraction. So, these kind of people don't want to say, I messed up. I shouldn't have done that. Now, here's the thing. They realizing that, but they don't want to own it. Instead, they're acting like, and probably even probably not saying it no more, because some may be saying that to certain people. And people see what's happening. Some of these people getting them straight when they're opening their mouth and saying some of the most dumbest stuff. No, they say, no, that's on you, because you shouldn't have been whatever. So they revert to just acting like it. So anyway, Kingdom people, acting like you doing something to them because they plot's not working on you. Now, these are the kind of people who they tend to settle. Part of the reason why I want to say have to settle is because they're not self-aware. They're not willing to do the work. They want to point the fingers everywhere except for to themselves. And then they don't want to change their bad behavior, even their demonic behavior. They don't want to do it. They don't want to change from their evil ways. And so, because of this, it's hard for them to have relationships, good relationships, healthy relationships, because they're unhealthy. They're dysfunctional, clearly. And they're not willing to own up to their error. So they have to be in relationships with people that's just like them, which means they're settling. Because if you're in a relationship with someone, and sometimes we don't find this out until later, but it helps us become more self-aware. If you're in a relationship with someone, you're getting along, this, that, and the other, then things start transpiring. You pointing out certain things. Now, you may be in the place where you're trying to grow, you're trying to improve yourself, this, that, and the other, and now you want to, speak on certain things, in the relationship, something, you need to discuss or point out. And if the other party, see, when you lack self-awareness, you think it's an attack. When you lack self-awareness, you think somebody's trying to pick a fight with you. You think that they trying to argue, or they just trying to anything but point out something to address it, to have a discussion around it, to come to some kind of common ground. So when you have self-awareness and you're dealing with someone who doesn't, that's a relationship that will not grow. In fact, it won't last. Because in order for you to be in that kind of a relationship, it means you will have to settle. It means that you got to deal with, listen, if you're dealing with someone who lacks self-awareness, that means you're taking everything on yourself. And how can you take on their part? You really can't. And when you do, you just try to carry the load. It's too much of a burden for you, and it's a burden you're not supposed to carry. It's not yours to carry. They're supposed to carry their load, but if they lack self-awareness, they're not going to do it. So I'm saying all that to say that these people lack self-awareness, so they're not going to own and acknowledge anything. Hopefully at some point they will. Maybe a light bulb will come on one day, or something will hit them across the head and knock some sense into their head. You know what I'm saying? And they come out on the other side, wanting to do things different. My nose itching, y'all. Excuse me. Got a lot going on, right? So anyway, Kingdom people, these people are acting like you done something to them, because their plots are not succeeding. Their plots are failing against you. And so they're stuck in this place. Literally. Think about it, kingdom people. They're stuck in this place acting like you're doing something to them because their plots are failing against you. They just sitting there. Now, where am I going with this? The real question is, where are they going with that? Nowhere. They're not going nowhere. Listen, you can't move forward sitting in this place feeling like somebody doing something to you because your plot's not failing. Your plot's failing against them. Here's the thing, people. You moving on. You living your life. They even act like you moving on and living your life is doing something to them. You doing something to them because you still going. You still living. Their plots failed against you. And they're stuck in that. Feeling like you doing something to them. And you go ahead on about your life. And this really bothers these people. This really ruffles their feathers. That all them plots that failed, it was a waste, is what it is. And that's what they're realizing. But they know it, but they won't. They have a hard time just accepting reality. They'll go a lot further in life and be a lot further in life if they just learn how to say, you know what? But prayerfully, they'll get there. A lot of these people, this is what was modeled around them. This is all they know. They haven't had really any examples or role models that showed them, modeled anything different. And in those kind of situations, it takes you as a person to want to do different, to notice the patterns and the error and the way things are, and know that there's something off about it and want to do different. Many of us know about that. I know I went through that, just knowing this is off, even before I understood a lot of things. As a little girl, I used to just be like, see a lot of stuff that I knew was off, but it wasn't much I could do about it because I was a little girl. I just paid attention. And of course, as I got older and started, learning certain things, coming into more knowledge and information, then I was able to put 1 and 2 or 2 to 2 and 3 and 3 and 4 and 4, whatever, together. Anyway, these people are not quite there. They're stuck on what they stuck on. They not in the place where they're ready to change. But again, prayerfully, excuse me, y'all, my nose is really itching. I don't know why. I just moisturized it because my nose be flaky and be drying. Anyway, that's a whole nother thing. But I just heard they flaky and they drying out. That's a whole nother message. You know why they drying out? Because you not giving them your energy, which they want so bad. None of their plots against you worked, and you going on about your life, and they feel like you doing something to them, and it's making them dry and stuck. And I just heard more dead inside. Anyway, kingdom people, pray for your enemies if you can. And I say if you can because sometimes God will say, don't talk to me about them. Like God told Jeremiah when he was trying to go to God on behalf of his chosen people that was acting a fool. God said, I'm not hearing you. I don't want to hear nothing about them no more. Jeremiah was trying to plead with God. God's like, talk to the hand. And sometimes it be like that because it comes to a point to God say, okay, that's it. He gave them chances. He gave them grace, but they played with that. And that's where these people are at right now. All the chances they had to get it right, they kept going. And now that the stuff didn't hit the fan, because that's what's going on. Everything that hit the fan. The cat's out the bag. Their plots failed. They're stuck in disbelief. I just heard disobedience. And just feeling like it's you. Like you doing something to them. Because they stuff ain't working on you. And you go, and they in a mess. And you go on about your life. Because you have a life to live. You got life to do. You got a calling to walk out. You got a purpose to fulfill. A God-given purpose to fulfill. You got things to do. You on a mission. You don't have time for that. And that's precisely why God had to shut them down. But also, it's a lesson for them in this. If they catch that lesson, then they could become more self-aware and do the dang on thing. Let God work it out in them. Prayerfully, it'll come to that. But in the meantime, kingdom people, to wrap this up, listen, your enemies are acting like you did something to them. They acting like you did something to them. Like you doing something to them because their plots against you failed.